And I have an incredible film of a woman who made that request repeatedly. It was a Catholic facility that finally, this man had been sent out of 9 homes because he was aggressive with his dementia. And the staff was told, he never had a directive that said he didn't want, he had a directive saying he didn't want medical nutrition and hydration. The wife said he wouldn't want to live this way. The staff was instructed to honor the wife's request on the grounds that this was what he wanted. The man died. They went back in and filmed the nursing assistants and the LPNs. And they were traumatized. One was one of those boys of Sudan who knew hunger in his own country. And they talked about how hard it was to watch this man, knowing if they helped him, he would eat and relish eating. But what justified it was they were told this was what he wanted. And the people who authorized this were shocked when they paid attention to the experience of the nurses and the LPN. But I'm beginning to see this more and more. And the wife was eloquent. She wasn't an ugly human being. She cared about her husband. She had lived with this problem for a long time. She said, he's like a shadow on my life. She was clearly ready to move on. But she said, society's going to have to come to terms with the way we're warehousing these people. Now, what does Catholic healthcare have to offer? Palliative sedation. We don't have a session on palliative sedation, I think, in this particular seminar. Some of your faculty have addressed it. But palliative sedation is increasingly being recommended for people who have symptoms that aren't amenable to analgesics. So we all know, doctrine of double effect, if you've got a lot of pain, we can titrate your meds upward. And with the doctrine of double effect, we accept that as we escalate dosages, we may hasten dying because of respiratory effects, but we're always with the intent to treat the pain. And we're not walking in with a whopping dose or a bolus of fentanyl to cure your pain by causing your death. Well, palliative sedation is being thought about the same way, that if you've got agitation, you've got dyspnea, you've got existential angst, and you don't want to be conscious, you can ask to be sedated so that you don't have consciousness of that. And the sedation can have the same effects of hastening dying. Now, this is an issue that's very controversial. If you're interested in it, one of the best things that I've seen written is a white paper by the Veterans Administration. Most people who are talking about it say it should be reserved for the imminently dying. But just as we've traveled this path with analgesia, it would be very easy to use this to cause someone's death. I have had one request from a hospice where it was a woman in the early stages of a cancer who wanted it. And then I've got to think about, and we're in a hard place here because we believe suffering plays a role in our life. Not that we go out and scoop it up like an ice cream soda or a sundae and say, I'll have a double scoop of suffering because I know there's a good benefit, but we believe that suffering plays, Jesus was perfected through what he suffered, right? So if we say, gee, I'm having a hard time, sedate me, please, so you don't have to deal with this, that might be at cross purposes with a healthcare that's truly oriented to healing.